Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Money and Mindset Podcast. I am your host, Sheryka Alford, here with
Anntricia Bray Smith.
Anntricia Bray Smith. As you can see, she is just as energetic as always. Energetic and lovely, I may add.
Mm. Hey, it's been a long day. My legs and feet is swole. Can't wait till my husband get home from work so he can rub
Mm,
them feet.
oh my! That was a lot of information for us today. Please and thank you. Anywho, today we're just gonna talk about how are you doing so far? We're gonna do just kind of a mid-year check-in. We're halfway through 2021. Can you believe it?
Yep,
I
ready. Look, May couldn't get here fast enough. So checking in on all sides, May could not get here fast enough. This is one sister that's ready to sit at home and do absolutely nothing.
Well, all right. So by the time the audience hears this episode, you probably will be well into doing absolutely nothing, as you say, because I guess it'll probably be about what? Beginning of June,
June.
mid-June.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we've over the last past couple of, I guess, show the seasons, we've talked about things like creating financial plans and um, what to look forward to in the different stages of life. And so, now I'm just wondering, how are you? How's it going? How are you progressing? Um, you know, how's it going? And how are you progressing so far,
And
Anntricia?
that's a good question. One thing I know for sure that if anybody has been connected with us, especially from season one up until now, if you sitting back doing nothing, you ain't got no excuse. If you're not making progress, you don't have no excuse. There is nothing that I can see would leave us grounds to continue to make excuses and continue not to get this money and also our mindsets in check. I sit here and I always say, this is not a image that we're trying to portray to you. We're real people in real time doing real work, and it's showing every week, every day, every month. I'm making progress, and so I know this process works. I know what
Mhm.
we're talking about and what we're sharing, and when we implement those things, it works.
Yeah, one step at a time. Once you make up your mind and you're really ready to commit to your process and follow through, then yes, it does work. And is it going to be easy all the time? No, not so much. Because, I'll be the first one to say it seems like as soon as you say, okay, I got my plan, I'm going to start doing X, Y, and Z, putting back this money in this account, paying off this debt, life continues to happen.
Girl, what you say? Like the trenches. Somebody, what them levees, them gates that when Hurricane Katrina, what they say, the levees broke. Oh, it's gonna break in your life. It's gonna break in your life. So don't think it's gonna be easy. Don't think the waters is just gonna fold open for you and just let you walk through on dry land. And no, you're gonna get drowned in that sea. Let me tell you.
No, no, no. We're not going to get drowned in it because since we have our plans in place and we are being proactive and preparing while we're on those strange and angry waters, we'll have a riverboat or something to help us. But yes, life does
We
happen.
hope, but honey, let me tell you, life coming at you like a flood. And if you still sitting on the banks of excuses,
Yeah,
okay,
so true. Yes, you put
okay.
it that way. If we sitting on the bank of excuses, yes, ma'am, that tidal wave will come and yeah, wipe out. Yeah, I noticed that once I realized we had to get a new washing machine. Which
Look where Jimmy Bray at.
Right.
Girl, my oven ain't working right now. Do you hear me? Oh, I'll just have to cook on top of the stove. No, ma'am, it's not in my budget for this month.
Yep.
It's not in my budget. So I have to go to plan B, C, D, E, F, G, and whatever other F alphabets until, till I work that over in my budget. I'm just not doing it anymore. I am focused. Right now, I'm at that stage to where I'm selling off stuff. I'm trying to get rid of some stuff that is adding no value in my life. I have a couple cars right now. I counted on one of my woman to woman when I was talking about finding the money. Um, that was one of the things I talked about, and I'm getting rid of stuff right now. Do you hear me?
Sounds like you're pretty determined. After all
Absolutely.
this time, you are all in. So, we just say all that to say that, hey, we acknowledge the fact that it's not going to always be strawberries and rainbows and all that, but you can still move forward. Even though life happens, you can still stick to your plan. You just have to be determined that that's what you're going to do.
A good plan now. Let me clarify that now. A good plan, because even a good plan every now and then you have to go and reevaluate that. So
True.
you don't want to have a plan that's so strict with its boundaries that it doesn't allow you some flexibility. One thing you want to hold to within that plan is your spending. You want to keep that spending under control. You want to exercise some level of discipline. And if you've done the work, if you implemented some of the things that we've shared with you, you already are probably developing new habits. And that's one of the things you don't want to let go of. Keep the habits, the good, productive habits that keep you moving in the direction that you have to reach your long-term goal financially. So you don't want to just get a certain make some progress and then go back to the same old habits, because with
Right.
that you're going to find yourself right back to square one.
Hmm.
Okay, so develop those new productive positive spending habits and implement it no matter what comes your way, and that will keep you from drowning when the floodgates come rolling out at you.
Yes, so true. So we've touched on staying committed to your plan. How are you doing as far as your insurance needs are concerned? I know we've talked about various types of insurance on the show. So have you taken the time out at this point to evaluate, one, to see what type of insurance do you currently have? What are you carrying as far as whether it be on your automobile? Is that the appropriate insurance for your lifestyle and for you now? What about your homeowners or renters insurance? If that's something that you're in need of based upon your current situation, do you have it, and do you have adequate coverage? Also, have you reached out to your insurance provider to see if there are any lower rates available for you, or done comparisons? And I know Anntricia's probably going to chime in on this one. Life insurance. Have you evaluated your life insurance needs? If you have someone that depends on you and your income, and if something were to happen to you, do you have appropriate plans in place for that? Go ahead, Anntricia. Give your spiel. I know you feel strongly about insurance,
Oh
and
yeah, for sure. People leaving this world, and the people they leaving behind is put in greater financial distress because we didn't take care of our business. So um I shared with you in season one, the loss of my dad. Yes, he had life insurance, but the beneficiaries were not up to date, and so we didn't benefit from any of that. We were blessed enough to make sure that he got buried, and that his estate and everything, which is still in the courts even to this date. We're still I'm still in court, in probate, trying to get uh, the contents of his estate, so that maybe we can keep it in the family a while. But Guys, this is no joke. This stuff we're talking about here on the Money and Mindset podcast and wherever else you hear this information, we're not just saying this just to say it. Everything, my dad worked hard. And let me tell you, he was a hard-working man. He was
Yes, he was.
self-employed. He was a businessman. Everything he worked hard for all our lives, all his life, could have been lost in 2020 when he took his last breath. So he did a lot of things good, but still there was so much more that was left undone. And here I am, 20 months, 21 months later, still trying to put the pieces together so that we can salvage some of his legacy.
Yes, folks. And that just goes to show, and we've said it before, and we'll continue to say it. And it's the basis of our whole show. Estate planning is not just for the wealthy. Um, Despite what you may believe, and let me just give the disclaimer. Of course, we're not financial experts. We're just telling you what we know based upon our lives. And of course, we're not advising you one way or the other, but we'll say go see a professional and figure out what's going to work best for you and your situation. And regardless of where you are, as far as your household income, if you have any assets whatsoever, then go see someone to figure out, okay, what's the best plan, what do you need to put into place so that god forbid something happens to you, that your loved ones will have everything in order and not have to worry about trying to put the pieces together in addition to grieving your loss, because it makes a world of difference.
Girl, look, it's people that I'm helping right now in real time. And there's some things that they're just not wanting to do. So there's a lot of going to be a much unclaimed money that's going to dissolve into thin air because they don't want to spend the money on to get a lawyer for probate and different things like that. There's money that's due to them as a spouse or as an heir or whatever. They'll never get it because there's just some things that people are just not wanting to spend the money up front to do in order to get. So we can eliminate all that. And the way we eliminate all that is to implement the information that you get as it applies to your life. Because sitting there doing nothing, it's not going to do anybody any good. It's not going. We can't go above the law. We can't go above regulations and policies and things like that are set in place on things that you neglected to take care of. So you really want to think about that when you're creating your financial plan, you're building your financial wealth and legacies. So that is really something to think about. But not only that, with life insurance and these other insurances that we talk about, many of us get complacent because we have it. And because we have it, we just say, well, we don't need that information. But if you have that information, what are you doing for the people around you? You should be teaching and including your family members, your
Yes,
community, your
true.
city. You should be talking about this instead of talking about Sister Sue down the road getting the lights cut off. What better conversation to have than, hey, what kind of financial plan do you have set in place? And I can help you. I can share with you some of the things that I have in place. And this is what I'm doing to prepare my family for a better financial future. So leave the gossip and start gravitating to some good, productive, beneficial, valuable communications with people you love. Implementing a financial plan, sharing with a young lady, especially that's struggling to raise her children as a single parent, what better information to share with her than to help her Get financially sound. And guys, it's not, we're not going to do this overnight. It's not going to
Absolutely
happen
not.
overnight, but you can change the direction of your financial future overnight. First, by having the conversation, and then by implementing what it is that you need that is in line with your financial goals.
True. So true. So true. And you hit up on another thing, and that was on my list to bring up as well. Um, your beneficiaries. Mid-year check-in. Check your whatever accounts, whatever policies, whatever you may have that you've had to list a beneficiary on. Check, well, one, check to make sure you have them listed. Let's start with that. And then two, check to
And,
make sure.
and while we're talking about that, I just have to squeeze it in because I do not want to forget. Because, like I said, I'm helping real people right now with these kind of situations where people have died and there's money laid up that they can't get to right now because they're not wanting to put the money up front to go through probate and all this kind of stuff. Also, the beneficiaries on your bank accounts. Don't leave those out. We're not just talking
Absolutely.
about life insurance and other insurances and things like this, or your investments on those bank accounts.
Hmm.
That is one of the first places you want to check, because we know you have bank accounts if you don't have nothing else.
So true. That is very true. So yeah, be just go, whether it be your bank accounts, your retirement accounts, any insurance policies, just go in, it doesn't take long. Just go in and check and see if, you have your beneficiaries, and make sure it's not something you want to update or change, because you could have gotten married or gotten a divorce or had a child, or just anything, life happens. So since we are talking about mid-year check-in, these are just things for you to go back and check and make sure you have everything in order the way you want it. Another thing, middle of the year, if you are like a lot of people, and some of you some of you may have just finished paying for the holidays of the previous year. Some of you maybe got a stimulus check or a tax refund or something, finally paid off Christmas 2020. Now is a good time to start a sinking fund. If you're one of those people who, the holidays trip you up, we're halfway through the year, just start putting back $25 a check or something into, and start a sinking fund. And basically, a sinking fund, it's a saving, basically you're saving
You
money
think you slick.
for earmark
You think you
purpose.
slick. Gonna turn your head so you don't have to look at me because you already know. Yes. Sinking fund. Yes. Okay. Because some of them done sunk. Okay. Some of us gonna be playing for Christmas until Christmas get here into the 2022. Okay. So yeah, that ship done sunk. Yeah.
It's not too late. And also another, if you know that it's getting close to time to maybe where you have to have major car repairs done, or like I said earlier, my washing machine, we had to replace that. If you own a home, definitely have a sinking fund for home repairs or appliance replacement, because as sure as I'm sitting here, we know that anyone who has a home that they're responsible for, they're going to have something, something outside of the regular monthly bills, that's going to come up. So to kind of change it from being such a hardship on you, just start saving for those little things. Just put back a little bit, and know that it's going to happen, and just know that you have a little cushion available for when it does.
Yes. And one of the things that I'm practicing now mid year during this check-in is that uh, I don't have the debts that I had when I first started. So oh, thank you. There's many debts that I paid off already. So my budget, I need to go back and rebudget and readjust it because I don't have all that money a month going toward debts. Now I need to start delegating that money so
What?
that
Wait. You mean you don't say, "Hey, I paid that off so I can go spend it and blow it on these shoes and purses that you know you're not
Absolutely
gonna
not.
wear. So,
Absolutely
so
not.
you mean you reevaluate and you start paying it somewhere else or getting some more
Mhm.
assets, investing it instead of just blowing it?
Absolutely. And like I said, we
Okay.
don't go back to the old spending habits. The old spending habits is what's got us in the situation that we were in. Once we start making progress, it's time to go back and reevaluate. So now maybe we can pay ourselves a little bit more for per month so that we can enjoy some of those luxuries that we like. That ain't me, but
You said
it may be
some. I
some.
noticed you said
That's right,
some.
some.
Okay, some.
But some of those funds that we were using to pay off debt, and now that we have those debts paid off, we need to start be planting that in other places to where now we're not giving it away, taking care of past obligations. Now we're beginning to stack it and allow it, plant it in places to allow it to grow. So we'll make greater gains that way. And so that is one of the places I'm at now mid-year. This is a record month for me financially. This is a record month for me financially. So, um, you
Awesome.
know, that's helping me to take care of some last minute financial obligations and setting me up to now. Let's see what the future is looking like. Where can I go and readjust some of the funds that I already have being planted every month? Maybe plan a little bit more and maybe find a couple other places or somewhere to invest in that will bring me additional streams of income. As if I don't already have a few. You
Yes,
can't
you
have
do.
too, you can't have too many. So that's something to think about. So if you've made gains and you say, hey, I've done this, maybe you reached that level of independence now and you're ready to celebrate. It's okay to celebrate and reward, but at the same time, don't regress backwards. We always want to look forward. So if we're going to celebrate and reward ourselves, make sure it's in the budget. Go back and
Yes.
readjust that budget and make sure it's in there so that you can continue to make those financial gains.
Yes, so true. If you're just now joining us on the Money and Mindset podcast, and Trisha and I are just kind of doing a mid-year check-in and running down the list of a few things to kind of put on your mind that if you have not done so recently, within the year, the last past 6 months or so, just some things that for you to do. Also, feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions or show ideas, anything that you'd like for us to maybe discuss. Send us an email at moneyandmindsetpodcast@gmail.com. Again, that's moneyandmindsetpodcast@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. So we've gone down, we've dealt with plans, we've dealt with insurance, we've dealt with what else have we dealt with, Tricia?
Budgeting,
But the budgeting, we've
habits,
beneficiaries.
discipline. Yes. All
uh,
that good, all those nuggets. It was thrown in there.
and I'm just gonna say this, I'm gonna put this out there and probably let this be it because I don't want to overwhelm you. Kind of look at where you are and consider as far career wise and just kind of do a self check and figure out, okay, is this where I plan, is this where I'd like to be for the next 6 months, the remainder of the year? Or if you feel like maybe there's some areas of improvement, some you might want to update your skills. Think about ways that you can update your skill set if that's something that you're interested in doing to better your or increase your opportunities later this year. So that's something to think about, especially the way things are now, the turnover rates in different employers. I don't know. I guess I shouldn't say you never can have too much education or too many skills in your toolbox, but you might not want to put them all on your resume so people don't tell you you're overqualified. But just be thinking about where you are professionally, career wise.
I've never really given thought to that, but thinking about it, I shared about helping my mom transition into retirement with her planning and things like that. And so that is really something to think about, because just because she's retiring from her 9 to 5 doesn't mean she has to retire from life.
Honey, because
So,
she is spunky. You cannot
mhm.
tell me Mama J is not. Honey, listen here, audience. If you think Anntricia is something, woo, Mama J is something and a half, and I just love her to pieces. Yes, no, it's not over.
Ooh, a whole big old mess. Do you hear me?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
retirement, that's because you gotta figure out like your scheduling because you're on a different schedule at the
Mhm.
end. Um,
So that's
how
one of the things, that she's looking into. She's followed my platform since I got started. Financially, she's doing so much better. She's following the steps, and even her sister, before she passed, had started making great financial gains. With adhering to some of the steps and the guidelines. Um, so with her transitioning into retirement, now she's picking up those skills that she's laid down all these years.
I'm
For
sorry. I'm
for
sorry. So what I heard you say was it's not too late.
oh no.
Okay,
No,
because
long as you
some
got
of us.
breath, long as you got breath in your body and you can still dream.
Okay, proceed. Because some
Okay.
of us use age as an excuse to not go to school and to not do
Mm-mm.
this and to not do that. So that's another nugget. It's not too late.
Look here, like she done told you, my mama more lively than I am, and more than I will ever be. Do you hear me? So yeah, retiring or being semi-retired and transitioning over into that uh, new dynamics of life. She's picking up sewing again. She's got her own home-based business. So she's staying busy, but she's also relaxing and enjoying life, not being tied to the demands of life. And so there were some things financially that she had to set in place. There were some insurances that she had to go and reestablish with different companies and different things like this. But it's working, and it can work. It's not too late. You do not have to be tied. You do not have to be fearful and scared. You do not have to be bound down by being overwhelmed with finances. Just do the work. It's not going to happen overnight, but I can guarantee you progress will show up, and it will show up fast if you just adhere to the process. Trust it, trust the process.
All right. I think on that note, we are going to wrap this episode up because I think now we have given everyone uh, enough to consider during this mid 2021. So until next time, my friends, I am Sheryka Alford, and she is.
No, 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 no. Anntricia Bray Smith. I love you guys. Till next time.